Welcome to Finding Life. My name is Jeff, and we're here to help you find life, enjoy life, and win in life. Today, we are in episode number 47, and I want to talk about money talks. We've been talking about in Ecclesiastes 10:19 that money answers everything, and I've just learned a few more things just recently, and I just want to pass them on to you. I want to add this to what we've been talking about, that money talks. Money speaks for or against us. And I want to go through three different scriptures that kind of share and reveal this to us. So, what is your money saying about you? What is your money saying about you? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 7. Hebrews chapter 7. Hebrews chapter 7. This is talking about Melchizedek and the order of Melchizedek and how Jesus is a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. And we see this in verse 8. It says, "Here mortal men receive tithes, but there he," talking about Jesus after the order of Melchizedek, "he receives them, of whom it is witnessed that he lives." And so we see that our tithe witnesses, or our tithe, as we give our tithe, we are witnessing or we are testifying. Our tithe is saying something. We are saying something. Our money is saying something. What does it say? It says that he lives. Now, to get a little bit more about this, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 26. Deuteronomy 26. Verse 17 says this. Well, verse 12 says this. "When you have finished tithing the tithe of your increase." And so how do we do that? Well, we see in verse 17 it says that when we have tithed the tithe, when we have honored and given the tithe to the Lord, verse 17 says, "Today you have proclaimed the Lord to be your God, and that you will walk in his ways and keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments, and that you will obey his voice. And today also the Lord has proclaimed you to be his special people, just as he has promised that you should keep all his commandments, and that he will set you high above all nations, which he has made in praise, in name, and in honor, and that you may be a holy people to the Lord your God, just as he has spoken." So we can see here that our tithe proclaims and declares something, and then God, in response to that, our witnessing and testifying that he lives, he speaks and declares and proclaims about us. Now let's go, second of all, Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter 10. Now this is talking about Cornelius. There was a certain man in verse 1. Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion in what was called the Italian regiment, a devout man and one who feared God with all his household, who gave alms generously to the people and prayed to God always. About the 9th hour of the day, he saw clearly in a vision an angel of God coming in and saying to him, "Cornelius." And when he observed him, he was afraid, and he said, "What is it, Lord?" So he said to him, "Your prayers and your alms have come up for a memorial before God." Now I want to read this in three different other translations. The CJB says this: "Cornelius stared at the angel, terrified. 'What is it, sir?' he asked. 'Your prayers,' replied the angel, 'and your acts of charity have gone up into God's presence so that he has you on his mind.'" The CEV says this, that God has heard your prayers and knows about your gifts to the poor. The ERV says this, God has heard your prayers and has seen your gifts to the poor. He remembers you and all you have done. In other words, his money spoke on his behalf. His generosity in his giving, his offerings spoke on his behalf. Number 3, James chapter 5. James chapter 5. James chapter 5 talks about the wicked rich. It says, "Come now, you rich, weep and howl for your miseries that are coming upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver are corroded, and your corruption and their corrosion will be a witness against you. They will testify against you, and will eat your flesh like fire. You have heaped up treasures in the last days. Indeed, the wages of the laborers who mowed your fields, which you kept back by fraud, are crying, calling, and screaming out, and the cries, the calls, the shouts of the reapers have reached the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, or the Lord of hosts. So we see here that the way the wicked rich have been functioned and operated and fraudulently kept back money, stole money, withheld money, the way they have acted with their money, that money is witnessing and testifying against them. So we saw how money testified for someone and how money testifies against someone. So my question to us today is, may our money speak good things of us, amen, as we honor God with our tithes and with our offerings and with our generosity. God bless. We'll talk to you next time.